I'd like to add one thing, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just comes to my mind. When you think about the purpose of those reference guides, if you say, what purpose should they serve? And there is obviously more than one, right? Yeah. And what just comes to my mind is in the ISO world, and the PMI is also linked to ISO because there is the ANSI, the PMBOK guide, is the local national standard in the States, right? A very important reference for that ISO environment. And in the ISO world, there is a specific idea about so-called reference standards and other stuff. And in the reference standard thinking, you need to be specific when you talk about reference. And I think this is always a bit difficult to say, okay, how prescriptive, how strictly do I have to describe something to work as a reference, to allow us to say we talk the same language, because that's the idea of a reference, right? Same idea of something. Staying practical, right? And the pendulum swings back and forth in those two areas between a strict reference and an actionable framework that on the other extreme basically might be even understood as, Mark, you do whatever you like and you still can feel like I comply. I do the opposite and it feels like I comply. And then we're losing the same understanding of what we're talking about.
I think one of the foundational concepts that has been in the very first PMBOK and has kind of been elaborated is this whole different organizational forms. And I think one of the underlying premises that still a lot of executives and senior managers, they use the word project management, they use the word project, but what it actually means from a systemic perspective, they don't really care, and it's fine because it's kind of operational. It's too operational for them. But what I think we need to understand is that if the large organization that we come from, that works very strongly according to rules and governance and standard operating procedures, as we call them, if they were capable of managing difficult projects, they would do it themselves, and there would be no need for us to exist. If I were to summarize what the actual purpose of good project managers are, is we have to be able to think outside the box. We need to know the rules, and we need to know where to bend them, because if we follow the rules, we're not going to be successful. So we're I always use the term, the special forces. We are granted over a certain period of time the allowance of the powers that be to bend and adjust and to be adaptive in PMI language, and to tailor, and we're allowed to bend the rules only for a certain period of time, and then return the product back to the line organization where everybody feels comfortable.
But I would augment what you said. We're not just thinking outside the box, delivering outside the box.
Absolutely. I think the big challenge, and I think that's one thing I'm still waiting for in future,